The vibe of your tribe. It's a decided difference.
A Decided Difference, the podcast devoted to your success and happiness. You choose the change you want. A Decided Difference will help you achieve it. Now here's your host, Lou Ann Clark.
I have just returned from a trip to Atlanta that also included stops in Nashville and Chattanooga. These were 5 of the best days I could imagine. Not because of the scenery or the weather or the sightseeing, but because of the people I spent time with. The primary reason for the trip was professional development. I attended an intensive speech writing workshop for 2 days. But as long as I was going that way, I decided to visit with friends along the route. I had a lovely day in my future hometown of Nashville, in the company of people who truly light me up. On my way to Atlanta the following day, I visited with some former colleagues, and when I got to the workshop, I was surrounded by creative types who love all kinds of creative pursuits, mostly involving words, communication, and performing. My final stop on my way out of town was with a friend who is a multi-talented artist. She is a painter, a writer, and a metal worker, among other things, and she has recently begun a deep, deep dive into the world of sourdough bread baking. Yeah, it's a world I didn't even know existed. When I hit the road for home, I felt deeply satisfied and happy that I had taken this trip, for several reasons. One, I always love to get out in the world and experience new things. 2, I learned so much good information in the workshop. And 3, I spent the whole week with people who are smart, creative, and engaged. These are people I feel privileged to know and to get to hang out with. They are fun and funny, but they're also dead serious about making their corners of the world better places. They encourage me, they challenge me, they inspire me, and I hope I do the same for them. They make me want to do better and be better, and they help me to believe that I can. These are my people. We are not family, but we do belong to the same tribe. I've said dozens of times that humans are social animals. We need each other. We humans thrive on interaction, communication, and shared activities. Spending time with like-minded people is good for us, and spending too much time alone is bad for us. Some medical studies suggest that loneliness may be worse for your health than smoking cigarettes or being overweight. And let's be clear, you can feel quite lonely, even if you live with other people, a spouse or children, or if you spend your days surrounded by other people, friends or coworkers. To be healthy and happy, the important thing is to spend time with people who get you. Hang out with people who appreciate the same things you do. Find people who encourage you to be who you are, and avoid people who want to force you into the form they think you should take. I think your happiness and satisfaction with your own life is reason enough to do this. But if you need another reason, one that feels more giving or more noble, then consider how you behave when you are with the people of your tribe. When you are with people who accept you, who inspire you, and who encourage you, you can become the very best of who you are. Spending time with people who bring out the best in you can help you then to give your best to others. Being with people who light you up can help you to contribute more to the light of the whole world. The workshop I attended was fulfilling for me, partly because the content was of quite high value, and partly because I was able to immediately put my newly acquired knowledge into practice as a part of it. But that was only part of it. A significant portion of the value of the workshop was spending time with others who enjoy language and communication as much as I do. It got my creative juices flowing to be with others who were batting around different phrases, trying out various stories, and figuring out which lines got laughs. I would have enjoyed just watching those things from the sidelines, but to be an active participant ramped up my own creativity in unexpected ways. I felt in the flow, and that is one of the best feelings I know. You don't have to take a huge chunk of time out of your life to attend a workshop, seminar, or conference relating to something you love, but I think it would do you good if you did. There's nothing like being around like-minded people pursuing their passion for the same thing that you're passionate about, whether it's performing arts or science fiction or books. If you enjoy crocheting, as I do, or woodworking or making pottery, it's great to spend time with other enthusiasts. That might mean getting together at a coffee shop to knit for a couple of hours, or it might mean spending a week at a convention, or something in between. I have a dear friend who collects miniature buildings, and he loves to get together with other collectors. They have a big convention once a year, and he goes to as many of those as he can. There are all kinds of formal groups devoted to specific interests, with dues and bylaws and membership requirements, and they're a great way to meet like-minded people, people who speak and understand the same jargon you do. But on the other end of the spectrum, there are also lots of informal groups that are devoted to all kinds of interests, from book clubs to business networking to fly fishing. All you have to do to find them is to go to meetup.com or look on Facebook for local groups. Some of the things I have read recently about loneliness concern me a great deal. I think it is one of the most difficult human emotions to bear. And when I hear about how Americans are more isolated and lonelier than ever, it breaks my heart. I've had some lonely times myself recently, and it isn't something I would wish on anyone. Feeling seen by, understood by, and connected to others are key ingredients in happiness, and I want you to have those things. I want you to understand that wanting them is normal. It is healthy. I personally loathe the idea that runs through American culture that says you have to be strong and self-sufficient, you have to stand on your own 2 feet, be fiercely independent, and you don't need anyone. You shouldn't need anyone. Should not need anyone. Of course, if you are a grown-up, you want to be able to take care of yourself and not be dependent on others for your own survival needs. But to try to get to a place where you don't need anyone seems like a hollow goal to me. So much of the joy in life comes from connecting with other people, and I can't imagine wanting to cut yourself off from that just to be able to call yourself independent. Yes, it takes effort to locate your tribe. You might have to do some research online, or ask around among your friends, or talk to the clerk at the hobby store. You might have to risk feeling uncomfortable walking into a meeting of strangers. You might even have to walk into a group of strangers where everyone knows everyone else, and you feel like the odd person out. But I think the risk is well worth taking, because there is nothing like shared interest to bring people together. There is nothing like being with others who share your passions to help you become more of yourself. And when you become more of yourself, you can give more of your gifts to the world, which feels, frankly, amazing. There are all kinds of benefits to finding your people and spending time with them. It's good for your mental health to be around people who encourage you to learn and grow. It's great to be with people who make you feel good about yourself and your interests. These are the people who help you to become more of you. Yes, there are often people who, despite sharing interests with you, are not all that much fun to be around, or who rub you the wrong way, or who make you want to run the other way. You don't have to like everyone in a group to get a great deal out of belonging to it. And occasionally you meet someone you don't really care for at first, but who ends up becoming a good friend. You won't know until you get out there and look around. When you do find your people, please allow yourself to take joy in your experiences with them. As long as what you are doing is not illegal or immoral, please don't feel guilty for allowing yourself time and space to enjoy it. For at least the last dozen years, I have made the conscious practice to choose to spend time with people who are optimistic, engaged with life, and interested in self-development. And I've been surprised at how frequently I've been criticized for this decision. Others will say things like, well, you just think you're better than everyone else. Or, can't you just be satisfied with what you have? When someone says something along these lines, you can be sure that they're not talking about you as much as they're feeling bad about themselves. You can spend your whole life worrying about what other people think, or being afraid that they will think you're weird. You can hold yourself back from experiencing the joy of connecting with your people because someone else judges the members of your tribe to be unworthy in some way. So, really, don't let judgmental people be the ones you hang with instead of the poets and artists and dreamers who make you feel hopeful and inspired. The world needs more inspiration and hope, not more doleful and depressing judgment. So go out there and find your people and make more inspiration and hope and enjoy the heck out of your life while you are doing it. And allow me to say thank you in advance for making your corner of the world a little better. As always, I welcome your feedback about the podcast. You can send me an email at luann@luannclark.com, use the contact form at decideddifference.com, or send a message to A Decided Difference on Facebook. And yes, I know I have messages awaiting responses. I will get to them as soon as I can, I promise. Until next week, remember, the world doesn't change. You do.